One name that popped up in the news this week is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold made his return to the ring for the first time in 19 years at WrestleMania this year and had a great match with Kevin Owens. WrestleVotes, in speaking exclusively to the website Give Me Sport, talked about Austin being so happy with how things went back in April that the belief is that he would be open to having another match. He said, I know he had a wonderful time doing it in Dallas. He was happy. He was elated. Let's say that the performance of the match, everything went so well and people loved it so much. So I know he was thrilled post-WrestleMania. And I would say that he was open to doing it again. And WrestleVotes followed up on Twitter a little bit later and said, I'll follow up on this. Source believes that Austin would definitely listen to any proposal for this year's WrestleMania. Me nor the rest of the world knows what his answer would be, however. He had such a great send-off this year in Dallas, right? Dallas, Texas, the place where he started his career. He was able to end it in the main event at WrestleMania, and he got out of it unscathed without getting hurt. Then he came out the next night. He gave Vince McMahon one last stunner. It was the perfect send-off in the perfect place. And so a big part of me wishes that that would be the final kind of parting image of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, if he wants to come back, if he feels physically like, you know what, that felt pretty good. I got a great reaction. I made a bunch of money. Every now and then, I wouldn't mind coming back and having another match. That's his decision to make. Naturally, people are bringing up the name CM Punk, because if CM Punk does get his release from AEW, if they let him go or if they buy out his contract or whatever the case may be, and he ends up being a free agent at some point next year, people are already talking about the possibility. Stone Cold against CM Punk. It's not going to happen. 10 years too late. It's not going to happen. And by the way, the people who think there's a chance of it happening at WrestleMania in LA, CM Punk is at home nursing an injury that probably will take a good 8 or 9 months to recover from. So even if there was any modicum of a possibility of this happening, it would not happen in time for WrestleMania next year. So I don't know why some people are actually entertaining this as a realistic idea. I look at the current WWE roster. If Stone Cold was going to come back and wrestle again, and I hope he doesn't, but if he's going to come back and wrestle again, I looked at the roster. And I looked at Raw and I looked at SmackDown. I was saying, is there anybody on either roster who I would really want to see him in the ring with? Where when you pitch the match, I think to myself, that's a match I'd love to see. There was a time where Austin and Brock Lesnar would have been a huge match. I have no interest in seeing that now. For Austin's own physical well-being, I have no interest in seeing that match. That is not the right opponent for Steve Austin at this age. Almost 60 years old. I look at some of the other big names, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Karrion Kross, Bray Wyatt. Like I look at the roster and there really is no one who stands out to me, except one. If I had to pick one guy where when I think about the idea of him getting in the ring with Steve Austin, it does appeal to me. And it appeals to me more for the promos than anything else. It's LA Knight. LA Knight is finally being able to come into his own on SmackDown. He got his name back. Right? He's a heel. He's just a perfect heel. And he clearly has modeled himself. If you go back to his days in Eli Drake and the stuff in the NWA, his cadence, his promos, his mannerisms, he clearly models himself after two people, Steve Austin and The Rock. And look, hey, those are two people that you can't go wrong trying to be like Stone Cold or The Rock, although it was a little too obvious when he first started doing it. But there's a lot of Austin in him. When I hear him speak and the way he carries himself, there's definitely similarities there. And I feel like promo battles between them on TV could be a lot of fun. I think the match probably would be fine. He's the only one who stands out to me as somebody who I would look at and go, okay, that's a match that would appeal to me. And that I think if he was to come back, there would be a realistic chance of that happening, as far as somebody from the current full-time active roster. Other than him, there really is nobody else that I have an interest in seeing in the ring with Austin.